Hey guys, DibtheAwesome here to give you another Monster Legends guides, where we talk about a monster's moves, the rune sets, the traits, the partners, all that jazz. Today we are talking about Hercule! So, things to know about Hercule, odds are 100%. He is probably going to be this winter's breeding monster, and I'm actually really excited for that. I hope the monsters aren't too, very specific or, just too hard to get. I hope I actually have them already. That would be great. But yeah, this is the odds are this thing is going to be the next breeding event monster because of the during the week there was like a wiki page during the news and stuff like that for upcoming 72 hours events. Along with Totem, there was one for Obsidian as a light monster. So I have the highly good feeling that this thing is going to be the winter breeding event monster, and it's a very good monster to pick up on. Not too much if you're like a beginner because you don't obviously like it. The middle temple's like level 30. You don't get the middle temple until level 30. But for high level players, this monster is very valuable because the first time forever since a long time, this thing is immune to freeze, and very few monsters actually have this immunity. The only other person that has this immunity that isn't a water monster is Reptile, and this thing is just a really good monster of all. I will say he's an upgraded Atlas. I use Atlas all the time. I compared the stats to these two. This guy's an upgraded Atlas. I can guarantee it is an upgraded Atlas. He doesn't have double life and the single target stun, but he has everything else, and it's just terrifying. uh, his power, all right. I actually have him. Okay, this is his 110 stats. I'm sorry. I guess I never changed. Wait. Okay, there we go. I was looking at his 110 stats before this video. So okay, his power is 3,542. This is a really nice power. It's one of the highest powers. It's probably like the average for metal monsters, or that one of the highest ones. This is a really nice power. His life is 36,191. This is a tanky life, and it's the highest metal life in Monster Legends. Uh, it's been a while since something went beyond Metalhead's life, which is really interesting. This thing has a lot of life, and these are actually its most like any attacker for just in general. The two stats you need to look into is its power and its life. Speed, it doesn't really matter too much. It doesn't matter much at all. You don't need to worry about the speed. If your setup is pretty good, you don't need to worry about the speed. It's just nothing you need to worry about. And this guy's immune to freeze. He's basically immune to the most common deny in the game, so you don't need to worry about it. You just don't. You don't need to worry about its speed. These are the only two stats that matter: the power and the life. Alright, so since it's a metal monster, it is weak to magic. These are all its forms, from baby to teenager to adult. I don't know if this thing is like some. I have no idea what this guy is. Is he like an elf? Is he like a dark elf? Is he like? I don't know what he is. Is he like? I think he's like a cyclops. Maybe he's just like a cyclops. I'd put my money on cyclops. He's probably like a cyclops. The greatest show on the earth. This deals insane special damage to all enemies. This is an 80 damage special alt, and I will say it doesn't even need a debuff because when he uses this move, odds are most of the things are dead. Unless they're actually running life runes. If they're not running any life runes at all, then everything's genuinely dead. This does a lot of damage. You don't even need to worry about it not doing any debuffs because odds are they're dead. The odds are they're pretty much dead because it does special damage. So you will for sure kill the enemy like timerion or just anything that's not running a life rune. You'll for sure kill it. Because 80 damage is a lot, and since it's like a special damage move, that just adds on to the fact. I don't really talk about skill group 1 moves, but I will talk about balancing act. This deals moderate special damage. It's a spammable move. It is only spammable move. You might actually want to run this move if you're running it on a defensive Hercule. There's a reason for that because timerion exists, and if you use this guy in defense, you want a spammable move, so you're not just timerion all the time. That's the only time I will say you actually should run this move is if you're using it on a defensive Hercule. Don't run this move if you're not running defensive Hercule. This is not a good idea. World's Fair deals very heavy special damage, gains 30% shield, requires cooldown. I will recommend this move. It's a very short cooldown move, and it gives a 30% shield, and it does 60 damage. I will say most moves of this monster in particular has really high base damage, and the move type is usually special damage. This guy does a lot of single target special damage. This is a really good move. I will say run this move. Since he has a really good life, this actually will give you a lot. Even though it's only 30%, it will give you a lot because you have a lot of life. And especially if you like shove a life rune on this thing, which I will recommend you do, it is important that you do put a life rune on this Hercule, on this monster. Don't put a speed rune, again, do not put a speed rune on this monster. It does not need the speed rune. I know you're worried about like, oh, what if I get like double turned? Run the life rune on this monster. Do not run a speed rune on this monster. Run a life rune. World's Fair. Okay, so yeah, I already talked about that. Just what I needed. Heals by 10%, gains 20% stamina, removes all negative effects from itself, gains 1 extra turn, requires cooldown. Alright, this move is actually, I like this move a lot. This actually keeps him, you can just disconsider all debuffs in this game besides stamina, drain, and stun, because this guy gets rid of everything else. This guy doesn't care about any other debuff besides being stunned or stamina drained. That's literally the only two things. If he's burned, he doesn't care. If he's blind, he doesn't care. If he's possessed, he doesn't care. He'll use this move and, you know, be done with it. This guy doesn't care all that much about debuffs because of this move. I know the 10% doesn't really seem all that much. In fact, it only, like, if you're like, let's say you're like poisoned at the moment or like burned, it pretty much gets rid of the poison damage or bleed damage, or kind of like you still take 5%. You also lose 5. You're like, you know, you've lost only 5% of a burn. This is actually a relative move in getting rid of like status damage. It's not, obviously it's not good for just overall you know, just healage, but you can actually spam. I will say that, like, if you have like a shield too, you gotta also keep in mind this guy has a lot of shields, so you can actually heal over time with this move. It's actually really nice. It's pretty much spammable too. It only runs on a single turn cooldown. This is a really great move, and it works well with his rotations and stuff like that. All you pretty much need to know about this move is it's his debuff remover. That's all there is you need to know about it. It's his debuff remover. You do need to run this move. It makes him pretty much invincible in terms of just like player on the attack, and sometimes maybe on the defense too. Maybe he might actually use this move while he is burned or something like that, which would be beneficial in that situation. Tonight's top 10 list. Deals low special damage to all enemies, may magnetize all targets, requires cooldown. I will say do not run this move. Just don't. It's just not a good move. Okay, so I know like a lot of people don't like metal monsters that run magnetism. It's in all honesty too, I think the only time you should ever run magnetism is if it's either Terrorizer or Dad. That's the only time I think you should ever run magnetism combo. This guy does not need the magnetizing combo. Don't bother with this move. Even though it's special damage, don't bother with this move. Just don't. It's not very good. It's not needed. You don't need it. Fair Dinkum. Deals massive special damage, gains a 20% shield, requires cooldown. This is a very good, I will say this move is pretty good. You might not have to run this move, even though it does a good solid base of 75 damage. In all honesty, a single target damage does a base power is 60, which is more than enough, and I think it's actually like the rotations run better. So over the top, this deals moderate metal damage to all enemies, requires cooldown. This is a basic damage AoE. Run this AoE. You totally need this AoE. It's just relatively helpful. Field Day deals very heavy special damage, returns 25% of the damage received, requires cooldown. I will say run this move. This move is pretty relevant in the fact that you can actually rotate it. It rotates pretty well. If you hear like meowing in the background, I'm sorry. My cats are just fighting. But yeah, okay, so what are the I will recommend a move set, and then I'll talk about the runes, and then I'll talk about the partners. For the runes, for the move set, I will recommend you run just what I needed. Hold on a sec. Stop fighting. Hey, get. Ah. Sorry, that was bothering me. But yeah, so you want to run just what I needed. Just again, debuff remover. You need this move. You want to run World's Fair. Just gives you that great shield. You want to run Over the Top, basic AoE damage, right? And you need to run Field Day. Just because it's it's base 60 damage, and it runs on a 2-turn cooldown. And it just rotates pretty much, well, pretty much what the basic thing is. You do, if you are burned or if you have any status effect, you use this move just whenever it is a thing, or you just want to get a cooldown back. You usually start the game with Over the Top. If you have like a buff up and something like that, you use this move, or you can use one of the you can use one of the shield moves. You can use like World's Fair maybe just to get rid of a specific monster, or field day, whatever you want to do, you can do that. But then you follow it up with either like just what I needed. Then you use another move. If you're like under a status effect, again you might only ever use this move when you're under a status effect, or like or you just want to reduce a cooldown on a move, and all that jazz. Sorry about that. But yeah, after the rotations are pretty simple. I don't really need to explain too much. This is actually really nice. This move right here is really nice because 25%. Since it does return damage too. So when you're hitting this guy, they're also taking damage too. So if you have like a shield up, with World's Fair, you can do return damage, which is really nice. It's really relevant overall. And yeah, that's the basic rotation. There's this guy again. The guy doesn't really have any stuns or anything like that. So you can do generally whatever, and you're just doing a lot of damage. This guy has a high base power. You can do whatever you want. Okay, so for rune sets, 2 strengths and a life, or like 3 strengths. You don't need a speed. Just don't put a speed on this thing. It does not need it. It does not need to be fast. It does not need just to put a speed rune just to make sure nothing gets another turn in. Just run a life rune. Just do it. If you have like low level runes, obviously it's not going to go too well at first, but you should put a level, at the very least level 5 or level 6 life rune on this thing. At the very least. It just lasts longer. It doesn't need to be fast. It can't be denied all that much. Again, stamina drain or stun. That's the only time this thing's not moving. For partners, I will recommend you run Sarah or like calliech with this thing. In all honesty, those are the best partners in terms of like denying. I mean, like in terms of the denier, Sarah or calliech, because it could use the like immunity to stun. It could probably use like the stamina stamina increase from calliech or something like that, just to get everything done faster, or just get like all your stamina back faster. I think that could combo really well with it. I will say for like the supportive monster, it can be another attacker, it can be like a stunner, or like another denier. Again, this guy does a lot of damage, and all that jazz. I don't know why my cats are fighting. It's really funny because this guy's a fighter, or like a bodybuilder or something like that. I don't know why my cats are fighting. But yeah, anyway, that's all you really need to know about Hercule. The other monster can literally be anything else. If you want another supportive monster, you can run it. This guy doesn't really need all that much. You could possibly run a full anti-freeze team with like, a Reptile and calliech. You could do that. That's totally doable. And I would actually, that'd be a really cool team because, like the common stuff is freeze. You can run an immunity to stun, like Firelequin is a good like supportive monster for Hercule. Just because he's immune to stun. If one gets if one gets frozen, or like if someone does like an AoE stun, Firelequin can remove the stun from Hercule. Granted, that's gonna be said for any other monster, but I'm just giving a good example of a monster that can't be stunned, that also is also a buffer, and I think Firelequin actually works really well with this guy. You should try. I'm actually gonna try him out when I get Hercule, because I actually have Firelequin too, and all that jazz. I can't wait to try that out. I think that's all I really need to say about Hercule. He's a really great monster. Breed a bunch of these guys if he's in the breeding event. That's all that needs to be said. I'm DibtheAwesome. I'll catch you guys later.